Hello, hello. Welcome to the Fresh Approach Fitness, a wellness company's podcast series. Thank you so much for chiming in today and taking time out of your day to indulge with me a little bit and have a conversation. Well, it's more like a monologue, but kind of conversation because I do respond to you. I do get back to every message, whether you send it through here, through your messaging system that you're using to listen to your podcast. That's what I mean by here, through social media, through email. I do get back to you. So we're going to turn the monologue into a conversation. My friends, this is episode number 32. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you so much for helping me get this far. This is a dream come true. So today is November 9th, 2020, couple days away from Remembrance Day. And wow, the things where we're going to be remembering. I know that's not what Remembrance Day is all about. However, I'm sure the things we're going to be remembering are going to come up on our minds as we take a couple of moments of silence on November 11th. It's not just the past that we remember. We normally put things into perspective and what the past and the gifts that the past have given us today that we get to appreciate. Today's episode is all about stressing less. And listen, you're going to want to relax. Grab your coffee, grab your tea, get your sneakers on, go for a walk, and just indulge into today's story, today's conversation about stress less. Because, my friends, it is so not good for you. How many of you stress? Stress about finances, stress about your weight, stress about your job, stress about not feeling good enough, or stress for not opening up and sharing with your partner the things that need to be discussed because you're afraid and you're stressed out of judgment or of failure, whether it's self-judgment or failure. How many times do we eat out of boredom, or do we emotionally eat out of stress? There's so many ways that stress affects us. Listen, we are all living through a crazy time right now. We are in a different position than where we were 6 months ago, 9 months ago even, but it's still a high, stressful time in our lives. Your ability to change is not defined by yesterday, and it doesn't need to wait for tomorrow. You have a choice to make changes today, in the moment, and you can manage your stress in the moment. My number one trick for managing your stress is to wiggle your toes. That's it. Wiggle your toes. When you wiggle your toes, your shoulders relax and your smile gets a little bit bigger. Try it. Just wiggle your toes. See what happens. You can hear the inflection in my voice, right? Seriously though, transformation is now. No matter what stage you find yourself at in life, today is the day to get started with a shift in your mindset, with a shift in transformation. When we're dealing with the global pandemic and the opinions of people close to you, people further away from you, people in power, it's their opinions, and a lot of their opinions are supported by documents, but you and I both know you can find everything that you're looking for online to support whichever position you're looking for. The point of the matter is there's a lot of uncertainty in general. There's been a lot of changes. There's been a lot of new direction. There's been a lot of pause. In general, it's been very challenging to manage our stress levels and to keep being productive as a whole. So what are we doing about it? Some people are sitting still, waiting for things to pass, doing what they can. But in the meantime, their stress levels are increasing because they don't know. Some people right now, when I'm connecting with them, they can't afford as much as they could because they're not working and their bills have gone up. Electricity's gone up. Groceries have gone up. Supply and demand has completely shifted. And that's causing a lot more stress into their life. But my friends, stressing isn't going to help. Stress less is what you need. Find your happy. And it's not just a matter of me sharing that information with you and letting you know how finding your happy is going to solve all of your problems. But listen, stressing is not going to solve any of your problems. Stressing is going to make you sick. Not now, but down the road. Stress is the worst possible thing that you could be doing right now to your life. I have one tip to help you get rid of stress and to enjoy more peace in your life. If you take away one tip from today, you are even better off than you were a few minutes ago, right before the podcast began. But listen, it's about finding joy in your everyday. And it could be as simple as wiggling your toes. It could be as simple as putting your eye on the ball and finding out where you're at with your finances, grabbing those credit card statements, going through them, eliminating what you're not using right now or what you don't need, working on paying them off. How do you pay them off if you're not working? Find a way of bringing in income. We don't want to be sitting with all of our financial eggs in one basket. You know, it's been said more than once that you are needing somewhere between 3 to 7 sources of income to survive in today's society. You want multiple revenue streams. So if one falls, you're still good. You know, real estate, side hustle, job, business, whatever it might look like to you. And some people do multiple side hustles. I do, because they all have a different purpose in my life. They are all bringing in revenue streams from a different perspective, and they're all working together and helping me build my brand. But I want you to know that a significant amount of stress becomes bigger and bigger because you are putting yourself at the center of the story. You're making it about you. The truth is you're not the center. You know, what's happened through COVID this year isn't about you. You might be affected and it feels like you are the center because of your individual perspective. It's the only thing that you can see right now, but take a bird's eye view and see what's going on. What if you got laid off? Do you need to sit around and wait, making less money, or could you find a different job? Could you explore this opportunity to make some extra money through a side hustle and help you leverage other ways of up-leveling and lifting your life up, upgrading your life? If you mentally remove yourself from the center of the story and realize that there are other perspectives that are just as valid as yours, I'll guarantee you'll be happier. Just like wiggling your toes. If you make this story not about you, but make it bigger, so step back and take a bird's eye view, you'll have more peace. Your relationships will get better. You'll become a better spouse, a better parent, a better friend, a better sibling, a better employee, and a better person. You'll be happier. When you don't make yourself the victim of circumstance, you will make yourself happier. I truly believe that this is one of the mindset shifts that will generally help you achieve less stress and bring more peace in your life. And who doesn't want that? Right? Who isn't looking right now? Who isn't looking for more peace in their life? And sometimes it's easier said than done because, you know, resources are a lot less abundant at the moment for a lot of people, unless you're willing to think differently. And I would encourage you to up-level and elevate the way you think right now. See this as an opportunity. Yes, my studio closed, but I am so much happier now. I honestly am. I am helping more people with their mindset. I am helping more people with the root of the problem. I am helping more people get in touch with their finances, have more time with their families, take more self-care, and do truly more of what they enjoy for themselves. Great. That makes me happy. Before I go too much further, I want to clarify that when I talk about your story, I don't mean that you've made anything up by any means, right? It's just that you're the narrator. It's how it affects you. So I definitely don't want you to think that I'm coming from the perspective where a story means that you've made it up. That's not at all the case. It's more so your perspective. Our brains are continually processing a lot of information. And to make things easier, our brains gather all of that information into a story. We make that story about us. Sometimes if there's a shift at work, we take it personally, right? We don't mean to take it personally. We had no control. It wasn't our influence. Same thing with the government making changes right now. We have to wear masks as a society. We may or may not like it. We may or may not gripe about it, but it's nothing to do with us at all. You either wear one or you don't. You stay home or you leave the house. It's not our story, right? So think about that. What are you doing right now to make the story more about you? The story of inconvenience, the story of stress, the story of finances, the story of work. How are all of these things adding up? When you get a chance, I want you to write down all of the things in your life right now that are affecting you in a negative way, in a way that you want change. Because we can work on this together. We can do a wellness check together. A wellness check isn't just physically, what are you doing? A wellness check is, where are you at with your happiness? Where are you at with your health? Where are you at with your movement? Where are you at with your meals? Where are you at with your mindset? Where are you at with your job? Where are you at with your side hustle? Are you growing in any of these areas, or are you spinning your wheels because you're stuck in a story? So if you're stuck in a story, I encourage you to reach out to me so I can help you walk through what else is true. You've heard me say that before. You could be having a bad day and ask yourself, that could be part of your story, but what else is true? What else was spectacular about your day? And I'll be honest, I'm going to go right here. My Getting Started guide, guys, is phenomenal. It helps you identify why change is hard. It helps you identify why we emotionally eat. And we tend to emotionally eat when we're stressed, happy, bored, sad. It doesn't matter. We tend to leverage food as a way of relief, but it's not. We also tend to lean into spending as a way to relieve, but it's not. It actually makes matters worse in the short term and the long term, where you end up spending more on healthcare, you end up spending more on self-care, you have more sick days. We really need to get to the root of the problem to stress. Definitely do my wellness quiz if you haven't done it yet. It's free. I send a complimentary report. It's free, but it's going to help you see the root cause of where your stress is and where you're at right now with a few things. Okay, so let's go back to the story. Let's go back to think of what else is true. I'm going to walk you through an example. As I'm sitting in my office, I have a couple of notes on my desk in front of me. I have a recording software going on. I can see time spinning by on the little ticker. I have construction crew members going on near the house. I can see trees blowing. And outside there are the dogs trying to chase the squirrels. Gizmo is trying to chase the squirrels. So I'm thinking, I really hope he doesn't go after the bunny. It's not a bunny. It's a squirrel. I really hope Gizmo does not go after the squirrel, right? Because she's taunting at him. And I'm looking around and listening and noticing all of these things. My brain is processing all of them as a story. My mind is linking all of these things together, understanding that the causes and effects of everything going on and creating a narrative. That's what happens when we tell a story. That's what happens when we think of a story. Our brains do this all the time. It's just how we operate. It's not good or bad. It's human. Just for the sake of efficiency, our brain turns things into a story. But we humans, we tend to put ourselves at the center of that story. By default. It makes sense. Your perspective is the only one available to you all the time. To understand someone else's perspective, you either have to ask them, assume, or make it up altogether. But your perspective is available to you all the time. Your perspective on stress right now, your perspective on the economy right now, your perspective on your finances right now. When we put ourselves at the center of the story, we don't always see the bird's eye view. Right? We're only seeing a particular perspective. We are taking things personally. We are making assumptions. Naturally so. These are human natural behaviors. When you read the book, The 4 Agreements, which most of you know that listen to this is one of my favorite groups. It's The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I highly recommend that people buy 2 copies of this book. And that way they always have a copy to give away. My book is dog-eared, and it talks in here about the 4 agreements, and it's a reread for every year. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. And always do your best. When it comes to your story, when it comes to your stress, when it comes to where you're at, many cases we're doing all of these things. Well, we're doing two for sure, right? We're taking things personally. That's part of our story. We're making assumptions as to why people are doing what they're doing and how it's going to impact us and our story. And when it comes to always doing your best, we don't stop and realize when we're in the middle of our story, when we're in the middle of our stress, is our best today good enough? Did you do the very best that you could do today? Did you go to work? Did you show up? Did you do your best? Perfect. It doesn't matter the outcome. If you did your best, that's all that matters. Okay? It's the story you tell yourself that is creating the stress. Now, there are other factors as well that impact stress, right? There's a lot of uncertainties, but you are in control of stress. You can make these shifts, right? It's up to you to make these changes. And when the time comes for you to make these changes, they need to be small, subtle shifts so you can eliminate the stress. Know for sure that things are not being done to you, but they're being done for you. Any shifts at work are helping you grow. Don't get stressed over it. Again, wiggle your toes. Go back to wiggling your toes. But write this down. Write down any stress factors that impact you for the next day or two. And once you have a couple of things on your list, message me. I will walk you through what we can do. And this is where self-care takes a huge role into your day-to-day. When you become aware of what you're doing, why you're stressing, and how you're reacting to that stress, that is a huge, huge difference. But the first way of understanding the stress is to understand that you are not the center of the story. You're a character. You could be the leading character, but you're not the center of the story. And at any given time, you can ask yourself, what else is true? Right? Maybe you've had a stressful week at work, but what else is true? Maybe you brought in a new account. Maybe you have had some amazing conversations with people that are going to close next week. Whatever the case may be, ask yourself at any given time when you're feeling stressed or when throughout your day, first of all, have I done my best? Yes or no? Second of all, what else is true? So you're not so stuck in that story. Now, we've talked about breathing exercises before. I definitely want you to see the information on the Getting Started guide because it's definitely going to help you, and I can walk you through how to make these shifts. But there are some things that you can do to help reduce stress because you need to reduce stress. When you're a walking stress case, you are a walking hazard. You react to people as a reaction and a response. Normally, it's a snappy response. It's not calm, cool, collected, relaxed because you're not relaxed, right? You are more in reaction versus proactive mode. So you're responding and reacting versus just answering a conversation. Your physical body is tight. Your shoulders are closer to your ears. You are just not in the moment, right? The deep breathing breaths that we have talked about before, where you go in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, repeat 4 times, is an amazing way to de-stress. Movement is an amazing way to de-stress. Getting outside, making movement part of your day-to-day is an amazing way to de-stress. Listen to some music. Journal. And if you don't know where to start with journaling, don't feel like you have to do all of these things in one day. Just do your best, right? But if you shift and stack your habits, we talked about this. I talked about this last week when I did a live. And if you want a copy of that video, let me know. It's only 4 or 5 minutes long at most. But I talked about habit stacking. And as you're listening to some of these ideas, think about how you can add them to your day already where something is already successful. None of these ideas should be stressful. it shouldn't be, oh, this is one more thing I have to do. This should be something when it comes to putting yourself in a routine, in a situation to help you reduce stress, should be something that you can fit into what's working already, where you can see an immediate outcome. And it doesn't have to be an hour of meditation or an hour of yoga once or twice a week. That might not work for you. Okay? So, we want to step away from turning into food for stress, right? I've done that before. My hands are up here. Raise your hand or let me know somehow if you've ever gone to food because of stress. I know I have. So I'm going to share with you a little bit how to reduce stress in a couple of minutes, because it is critical when fat loss is your goal. Psychologically and emotional reasons, it is critical if fat loss is your goal. My friends, you will not lose a pound if you are stressed, period. It doesn't matter how much working out you're doing and how healthy you're eating. If you are stressed to the point where all you think about are your problems, we have work to do, because nothing will work and you are a walking bomb. I've been there. Thankfully, COVID happened. Yep, thankfully COVID happened. And I was forced to make some shifts, and those shifts have been a huge blessing in my life. Stress doesn't have to just be emotional or psychological. It can be physical stress. It can be my ankles, for instance. It can be emotional stress. But at the end of the day, they all shift to some sort of physiological and emotional stress. That's where they land. So you're far more prone to justifying less than stellar food choices when you're stressed. You're going to grab whatever. You're going to go for comfort food. You're going to make yourself feel better temporarily. You can ask yourself, though, if you're looking for changes, if you're looking for improvements, you can ask yourself, is this really going to make me feel good? Am I going to feel better by eating McDonald's? I'm not. I've talked myself out of it 1,000 times, because I am not going to feel better. First of all, my body does not deserve for me to hurt it some more. Secondly, it's the taste. Yeah, it might taste good for a few minutes, maybe, but normally it's after one bite, I'm satisfied. Okay? Second and third point is I'm going to have a sore stomach. Fourth point is I'm going to feel bad. Fifth point is I'm going to be spending money on something that's not going to fill me up, not in alignment with my goals, not going to overall do what I want it to do, and that is to make me feel better. Those are 5 reasons why I talk myself out of going to something like McDonald's or any kind of takeout. Eating that kind of food is not going to help me. So the more we can naturally manage stress, the more we can improve our fat burning potential. Okay. First of all, we just talked about the breathing, and I wanted to go back and reiterate this is a good time to do the breathing 4x4. That's what I call it. 4 in, 4 out. 4 in, hold for 4, 4 out, repeat 4 times. It's a breathing exercise. It's called box breathing. You can call it whatever you want. Different people call it different things. But it's really, really not hard. Okay? It is going to help you. You can do it for a couple of minutes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Continue for 4. Through your nose is really important. Then you've inhaled, hold your breath for 4. Exhale, slow and controlled for 4. Hold it for 4 before inhaling again through your nose. Repeat this many times when you're stressed, feeling overwhelmed, because this brings us back to a place of calm. Stress and anxiety are caused by too much future and not enough of the present. That's where we go back to wiggling our toes. Try it. I don't care what you're doing. Try it. Wiggle your toes right now. It brings you back to the present. One of my favorite sayings is be where your feet are. And we all know that when you're worried about the future, you're anxious. You're worried about all of these what ifs in the future, things that you can't control, because it's probably going to happen anyway, one way or another, but there's no point worrying about it. The more we worry about our future, the more we take away from today. Depression is living in the past, right? We want to be in the present. Our attention is directed towards something that is not happening to us right now, and if that's the case, we need to shift it. A good way of shifting it is to be where your feet are. And my feet right now are on the floor with my toes wiggling and I'm smiling. Guys, it's not easy, okay? Stress and anxiety are not easy. That's why it matters to be doing the breathing exercises. You'll take in more oxygen. Your body manufactures more nitrogen oxide, and it's going to lower your heart rate. There's a huge scientific impact here. I'm not just saying this to give you some suggestions. There's scientific backing that's going to bring your breathing down. It's going to calm you down, and it's going to help you stress less. The body produces more of these calming and relaxing chemicals the more you do this exercise. Okay. I would set a timer for 2 minutes and see how long you can go before you go into any temptation. Because my friends, stress can kill you. And I hate to say it like that. I hate to be so bold, but where we're at with COVID right now, we need to be in charge of our life and our situation. We are living day to day. And yes, you can plan for the future, but keep your story about what can you do today. Get that book. Download the audio, the 4 agreements. Reach out to me. See where I can work with you on the Getting Started Guide. Mindset shifts. Because all it takes is one improvement in one area for your shoulders to relax a little bit. You really, 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 really need to be checked in with the wellness check to see where you're at right now. There's so much that's uncontrollable that the one thing that is controllable is your stress level. 100% stress level. One of the ways that you can control stress is through an adaptogen. I'm not sure if you've heard me talk about adaptogens before. Adaptogens are natural supplements that help your body adapt to stress. I've been using maca root for years. There's hormones. It helps regulate my hormones, which is perfect for perimenopausal. And yes, I don't care. That's the stage I'm at, right? I don't mind sharing that stage. It means, and as an empath. So I'm perimenopausal and I'm also an empath. I've been using maca root for years. There are different adaptogens, and I can certainly help you out with that. As I mentioned, I have 3 side hustles at the beginning of this. I am doing what I can to maximize having multiple eggs in multiple baskets. But I am doing this as part of a brand because this is the lifestyle I'm living. When you celebrate more, and you've all heard of my Celebrate Everything Facebook group. If you haven't, you want to get in there because we talk about meals, movements, mindset, finances, so money, right? All of the stress factors, but there are different ways that you can celebrate every single success. What if the one thing you do today was print off your credit card statements? One thing. That's all you do. And then tomorrow, you go through one statement and you highlight everything that's automatically going through your statement. Okay? And then the next day you do another bill. Sorry, not even that. The next day, maybe you take 5 minutes and you start calling or canceling some of the things you're not using anymore. Done. You've just saved some money. You've just now freed up a little bit of money. And if you repeat that to any of the other statements, what if you're able to take that a step further and also call one of the credit card companies, see if they can lower your interest rates, or see if there's anything that they can do right now if you're not working, or even if you are working, but you want a different outcome than what you have right now, and you're financially stressed. There is action you can take. I can certainly help you with this. You all know that I come to you with experience and education. There's so much I've gone through, so many waves and mountains I have climbed that I definitely have the resources to be able to guide you through this. But adaptogens is certainly one of the natural supplements I would recommend to help your body adapt to stress. There are so many different ones on the market. There are some that I do provide for sure. But definitely let's have a conversation if you're thinking of adaptogens, because they are so many different ones for different reasons. And you want to find the right one that works for you. I know somebody that takes one that's fantastic for her. It wasn't fantastic for me. I like the maca root myself, but it doesn't mean that there isn't one for you just because the first one that you try. You really, really, really need to do what you can to bring down the stress. Okay. The first way of bringing down the stress is to find out what you're stressed about and what you can do about it and how to take action. So we need to define stress before you talk about adaptogens and other solutions. We've talked about breathing. We've come up with a solution a little bit, a strategy for money, mindset. We've talked about adaptogens, which are natural supplements. And as a reminder, stress is not just mental and emotional stress. It can be physical as well. It's not just about your experiences of anxiety or worry in your day-to-day life. And it's not just something that makes you feel crappy. It's not even about the big emotional stressors that we experience, like the dramatic life changes or traumas that happen. These are the mountains that we climb, right? One of the most common stressors is overeating. Another common stressor is overspending. But overeating causes physical stress on the body, and that stress gets worse based on the degree to which you're overeating and the frequency to which you're overeating. Stressors include things like sugar, gluten, anything else that you would have a sensitivity to. Dairy, for instance, will put stress on my body, and it goes beyond food. Illness is a stressor. Physical illness or acute illness. My ankles are more of an acute illness. When you have an allergy or the flu, your body is under stress. Injury is a stressor. When you roll your ankle, your body experiences physical stress. And lack of sleep is a huge stressor for a lot of people. Maybe you think you can make it work 4 or 5 hours a day, but eventually your body's going to catch up with you. Okay? Now, not all stress is bad. Exercise is a good stress reliever, but you are putting your body through stress when you exercise, and that's okay because it's done temporarily, and you get so much good out of it, that is okay. But your body is not meant to handle chronic stress. We are not designed to handle overeating, lack of sleep, illness, injury, or constant worry. These have a serious consequence for our bodies. And the systems may not show up now, but they will come and you will have major health problems. Stress can literally kill you. You really need to stress less. Our brains will actually degenerate, and we can create a whole range of several health problems just by consistently putting our bodies under the kind of physical stress caused by the stressors I just mentioned, right? Our body is not meant to live in fight or flight mode, and that's what happens when you're under stress. So, couple of tricks, because we are short on time and I like to be mindful. Clearly, I can talk to you about this more often. Reach out to me, friends, and let's do a wellness check-in. Okay? Let's do a wellness check-in and see where you're at. And then let's come up with a short-term plan for some goals and some strategies as to what you can do now. Could you make more money and bring in a side hustle? Sure. Of course you can. Which one is the right one for you? What is your reason? What is your purpose? Let's talk about that. Okay? Do you have any injuries that you're worried about? Are you dealing with acute stress? Are you dealing with financial stress? Are you dealing with emotional stress? Okay, so let's do the wellness check-in. Take a look at the Getting Started guide. Just message me for that. The other one is the breathing, the box breathing, right? When we breathe in for 4, we through our nose, hold for 4, breathe out, wait 4 seconds, do it again. Do it 4 times. I do 4x4. That's what I call it, 4x4 breathing. It's also called box breathing. Okay? Then we know how movement is helpful, right? We know that meditation is helpful. We know that wiggling your toes is helpful. More importantly, though, we need a strategy to move forward. We've talked about some financial plans as to how to move forward with that, and we can definitely walk through a strategy. The last thing we talked about was adaptogens, and I do have some access to adaptogens through one of my sides that I work with, and definitely would love to just have a conversation with you to see which adaptogens are the best ones for you. Maca root might not be the best one for you. GABA might be better for stress. Maca seems to be the best one for me, but there are so many of them. Let's connect. Bring your shoulders down. Wiggle your toes. Take yourself out of the story is the most important part. Things are not happening to you. They're happening for you. Find the silver lining. Once you start to find the silver lining, see this as an experience, as an opportunity to grow, a way to elevate and upgrade the way you think, your world will start to shift. Because stress is one thing you can control, right? You don't have to react. And one more solution is we talked about the 4 agreements, right? Get the book, read the book, be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. Okay, my friends, you know how to reach me. Sonya, SONYA, at freshapproachfitness.ca. Freshapproachfitness.ca is the website, and I am all over social media. You can either find me at Fresh Approach Fitness or Sonya Janice. I look forward to hearing from each and every single one of you, and I will respond to every message I get. Have yourself a fantastic week, my friends. Definitely find a way to stress less.